All right, guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Rush podcast. We're really happy to have João Maria Mendonça with us, one of Portugal's most promising up-and-coming surfers, big wave surfer, Billabong team surfer. João, pleasure to have you with us.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite.
For sure, very, very happy to have you. So I guess, this generation of surfers coming up in Portugal, it's quite rare for us to see surfers coming from Algarve doing so well, having so much exposure. I'd love to hear kind of a little bit about where it all started for you, your connection with the ocean and with surfing specifically.
I think Algarve's always had some really good surfers. I don't know why. I think it's a really special place. Like everything from the waves, like it's a quiet place. You can really focus easily. You don't have the distractions of like the city here. You have Marlon, which was European champion, and he got to the CT. I think he was representing Germany, but still he lived in Portugal. He was one of the first Portuguese German guys to get on tour. Alex Botelho, for me he's the best guy on big wave that Portugal's ever, for sure the one that sends it the most is him, I think, from Portugal. And then you have some really good surfers like Mozing. He was my coach. He surfed really well. You always had the Guichard brothers. They also surf really well. So I think you always had good surfers.
Canelas as well.
Canelas, right. Also my coach. He was my coach when I was smaller, and really good surfer also. So I think you always had some really good surfers from there, really good people, and. For the small group of people we are, I think we still had a lot of people that are good surfers. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and I guess one of the, I wouldn't call it challenges, but one of the things you have to deal with is kind of like the distance between other spots in Portugal, right? If you want to surf a variety of waves, you're often coming up to Ericeira, to Peniche, to different spots in Portugal, right?
Yeah. For me, when I was in school and stuff, I used to almost only surf there. My father was really good on that. He used to always bring me up here, so it's also that was my luck. I traveled a lot when I was younger, so it's a really good place because, like I said, there you can really focus on yourself. You're not you're doing your surfing there.
You have less distractions.
So many waves for yourself. You have less distractions. You're just there in your own world. But if you don't visit also other places and travel a bit, you can get stuck too much in your own world, and I think it's not going to be good for you. But if you travel a bit, and like I said, my father helped me a lot with that. He also used to always bring me up here and travel. I traveled a lot around the world, so it was a really good balance, I think, from traveling and seeing everything outside, and then being there in my little focus zone. I think that's also what
always having your nest to go back to and regroup, and
that's what it feels like for me, Algarve. Yeah.
And so you mentioned your father, you mentioned Canelas, your coach. Tell us how you kind of got into firstly surfing in general, and then when was there a moment that you knew, okay, I'm pretty good at this, I want to start focusing on creating a career in the space?
My father had a restaurant during 20 years in front of the beach in Arifana, and the first 2 years he rented a house besides the restaurant, so I lived in front of the beach. He would always take me every day to the beach, and he started pushing me when I was around 2 years old. So
did you start with a surfboard straight away, or were you doing boogie?
No, surfboard.
Ah, yeah.
yeah, it was always like a thing to have fun, and it still is like just surfing to have fun. But of course, when I grew up and started doing some comps and travel and stuff, like around from 12, 13, 14, you start to get like some sponsors, and you start to hear your father talk about a bit of money here and there. But at that age, I didn't really think about like a career. I just thought like I'm addicted to this. I want to keep doing this,
and I get to do what I love all the time.
I always had a dream of being on tour and stuff since I was young, and I think when you're young, that's every kid's dream if you surf. So I just imagine having a surfing career. That's what I imagine, and that's what I'm trying to keep on doing. Yeah.
So it was just that like love and excitement and for surfing that kind of like threw you in there naturally in a way.
Yeah, I just loved it. I started surfing when I was really young. I liked it. Like I didn't go every day. It wasn't like a work thing for me. It was always to have fun. But the more I could be in the water, like the more I would be, you know. And when I started with Canelas also, was so fun, the group, that I just wanted to leave school and go surfing, and
was it like a group of like youngsters all your age kind of training with Canelas?
The whole of Algarve kind of, we trained with Canelas, and we used to all go like together surfing. Was the funniest thing. Like, yeah, just I had a lot of fun. We did some trips also, and that pushed me a lot because it was fun, and they surfed well, and so we pushed each other a lot, and that lifestyle, I think I was like not addicted, but I think I could do that. Like, I had that in my way, and I loved it, so I just wanted to keep doing it.
Yeah, you had the opportunity to do it, right?
Yeah, I know I'm really lucky, but yeah, I just wanted to keep on just being there with my friends surfing. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you mentioned like the love for surfing and that it didn't feel like a job, like you had to go. When you started to like pick up sponsors and get a bit more into like the serious side of competitive surfing, have you managed to maintain that? Like, is it still something that doesn't feel like you have pressure on yourself to go and improve and train all the time? Like, have you managed to maintain that kind of fun, light side of your surfing?
Like, it was more, the people around me started telling me, it's like, you gotta surf more bad waves so you get better on...
The QS, you gotta surf shitty waves.
You have to start surfing shitty waves. You have to do some stretches, and I started being like, "Fuck, this is annoying." But the rest is so good that, I didn't really care, and and then nowadays it's a bit the same. But of course, I was injured for more or less 2 years, so I felt like this past couple years, like 2 years, that I started surfing, I had to keep I don't know if it's not keep up, it's to
accelerate actually.
Accelerate, I had to kind of accelerate.
Like to make up for the lost time that you had.
Make up for the 2 years that I was I didn't surf. So I just feel like I had to make up, and now that I start to manage a bit more the sponsors and stuff, it's like a lot of things like that you have to manage. Not a lot, but some things that you have to manage, and sometimes, of course, some parts of it feel like work. Like the training part, you have to book all your trips. You have to grow up. You have to be a man. You have to do what your father did for you, and that feels a bit like work. But I think the surfing part always feels like fun for me. Yeah.
That's the thing, I guess. Like, because it's such an individual sport, right? Like, eventually you become the business, right? You're the business, and like, I guess, do you have like a team around you that helps you manage that element of things?
Yes. My father still helps me. But he got a bit fed up of doing things for me, so he kind of slowly passed me the things so I would manage myself. And now he still helps me. I have a guy helping me with, like, it's not really a manager, but he helps me with a bit of everything, a bit of the social media. He edits my videos. He helps me to speak with brands as well. He's Hugo Almeida. He films me a lot since I was younger, but now it's like we used to speak more with my father, and now he speaks more like with me. And then
so that's
I have this little team to manage this, and then I have like I have a surf coach, Shish, and Ruben, that I train with him, like physical. Yeah, and that's my team.
Nice. Yeah, Hugo Almeida I'm very familiar with.
You know?
In Ericeira. So is that one of the connections that you have with Ericeira that keeps you coming back, other than the waves?
Yes, also he's one of my dad's good friends, and that he helped me when I was 10 years old when he did like the first clip for me.
Wow.
And I loved it, and like back in the days you wouldn't have so many clips of like surf clips that you have now. Like now everybody can do like a little surf clip, but back in the day you didn't have so many. And for me it was, I got really excited, and he started working with me, like through my dad. Like my dad used to speak with him, and now that my dad got fed up of dealing with things, he just passed on to me. And Hugo's always been my really good friend. During the years he helped me like a lot. Yeah.
A mentor, a guide.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting part, because we talk about like there's the pure surfing part, and then there's everything else to be a successful surfer, right? Like there's so much to do with image, especially now in the age of social media being so important. And we see, like I see with you as well, working with a lot of our other partners on the platform, guys like Pedro Mestre, guys like João Bracur. How important are those relationships with photographers to kind of like take you from just the pure talent of surfing to, something that can actually go far and make a successful career for you?
I think nowadays, especially, it's a must. You need to have like a image for the brands and for the people, because nowadays everything is filmed, everything is like, it's not just a magazine once a month that you see a picture. It's like has to be more of an everyday thing. So nowadays I think it's really important to have that. For me a bit unfortunately, because I don't really like always showing up, and I don't like having that work. I rather just do my thing. Everybody does their thing, and then there's a contest and you show up and see who's better, or there's a really good day, or you make a movie and it's really good, and you were just filming and you don't have to show up, you just make the movie. But nowadays you don't have to, but it's hard to like keep up if you don't like keep updated.
I mean, it's basically you're building a brand around yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes hand in hand, because surf is so intertwined with like the image. It's a very cool sport, like the fashion brands that have always been in the forefront of that. So I guess like that's something you've always got to navigate, right? You've always got to keep the relevance from your surfing and talent side of things, but also like the image that you're putting out there.
Yeah, that's the bit annoying part, because it's mostly like there's not many sports. Of course, if you do that, it's an advantage, but you can keep doing your thing and be like successful. With surfing is almost the opposite. If for you to have an image and be successful, you have to film yourself more than than surf. So yeah, I don't really agree with that, but yeah, I try to find a balance of just have good things to show but keep doing my thing.
Yeah, and it's very, like, you're 19 years old, right? So we've had a few of the older guys, like from the older generations on the podcast, talking about the different kind of avenues you can take to make a career from surfing. So like three really that come up, one is the competitive side, right? Trying to go down that route and qualify for the CT basically, which is the pinnacle. Then there's more of like the kind of entrepreneur, influencer side of a thing, trying to combine another passion with surfing. And then I guess we have the free surfers, right, which kind of fall somewhere in between the two. What do you have a specific direction that you're focusing on? Has it changed over the years?
The influencer type of thing, I never want to do that.
I kind of knew that one before you answered.
But as between like let's say doing comps or only free surfing, I think I've always loved both. Like I've always loved to surf good waves and just try to get better at surfing, and I've always loved competing. So I kind of set this goal these next 3-4 years, which is like just give your best at competing. Like of course I'm 19. If I keep on this, I don't know what I want to do, it's gonna pass the time. So I want to give my all on competing and see where that takes me these next 3-4 years. But I love to surf, I love to catch good waves, so I always want to try to I think I still keep that side of free surfing too, of I don't know, free surfing competition, just surfing. I just you know, I love to surf, so when I'm not competing I try to surf good waves and also train for the comps. But now I have to have a main focus, and now it's to compete. It's not to free surf and to travel so much. It's to compete, and when I can, I try to do a bit of that, like just travel and get good waves. I know it's really important also for, like, I know it's really important for the brands, but that's not why I do it. I do it because I love it. But I know it's a strong side of like me.
It's convenient that it feeds what you love, and it's like an important part of the image and the brand kind of a thing. Yeah, and I guess like the paradox is, going down the competitive surfing side, it's like what everyone was telling you, right? Surf shitty waves when really you want to, speaking all over the country with different characters in the surf industry, your name comes up a lot as like one of the biggest chargers, right? Like seeing you surf the biggest barrels in Madeira when it's a huge day, or like crazy slabs. What, like if you didn't have to think of career and making money and brand image and things like this, like what are your ideal waves to surf? What do you really, what really makes you kind of energized and excited?
Probably the waves I surf these days. Like I've been surfing, I don't know, it is, I don't want to say the spots, but around there is
disclaimer alert.
Anything that's a good wave, it's fun for me. Even with competing, like even shitty waves, it's really fun to try to improve on those waves and to have fun on those waves. It's really fun too. Like I love a wave like this, that it's like a little Trestles wave. I have a lot of fun, maybe the same fun that I have on like a big wave with barrels.
Because of like
maybe not so much.
Because you need the creativity side, like of what to do with this little wave.
I just think it's really fun to surf those waves. It's hard to evolve on those waves, and for me, I think it's a bit less natural than the bigger waves. But to surf good on those waves and surf good on big waves and surf good on mushy waves and on hollow waves, that's the goal for me. I think it's to be like a complete
exactly, being surfer, a complete surfer.
And I think competing takes you to that side of being a complete surfer and evolving really fast. And I just try to keep evolving. And I think competing you evolve really fast because you have to be like your sharpest, you know.
Yeah.
I just love to evolve on different types of waves, but of course, I'm a bit addicted to those really good days with barrels. You know, it's my favorite thing. I think it's every surfer's favorite thing. It's just like barrels, like just perfect barrels. Like you can't choose a shitty wave over that, but doesn't mean that the shitty wave is not fun. Yeah.
And regarding those like big waves, the big slabs, big barrels, like do you ever have fear going into those kind of waves?
Yeah, I always have fear for sure. But there's a good trick that I make, which is like I never like force myself to go. Like I just arrive there. Maybe if I want to go, I go. If I don't want to go, I don't. Until I drop on the wave. I'm always like, if the wave comes, I don't want to go. I don't need to go. Like I can
like
just
super patient.
pedal out without a wave.
And that fear feeds the good feeling at the end, right? Like when you overcome it and you come out the other side, it's like...
Also, yeah, sometimes you, like I went to cave some days ago, like twice, and it was my first 2 times, and you're out there and you're always with fear, and when you come out of the water, you don't want to go again. Like,
yeah.
like, fuck.
Even when you leave.
Even when you leave, you don't want to. You're not like, this felt good. No, you're like, fuck. This was like I survived, so it's good. But fuck, I don't know if I want to go again. But then there's another swell, and you don't really think about it, and yeah, maybe you could get a good wave.
Yeah, what's running through your mind when you see like a good swell is coming? Is it like a mix of all these feelings, or are you just like, I have to go down there?
I think it's like, for sure you have that. I have to go and see if I can enter the water, if I can catch one of those waves, because if you catch one of those waves, it's like the best feeling ever. But also the fear when it's for the cave is, I think, one of the waves that gives me the most fear. There's a really like the wanting to catch a good wave is here, and the fear at cave is also here.
Yeah.
So when you make the decision to go on the water or to catch the wave, you're always like,
you have the angel and the devil on your shoulders.
As on the other hand, if it's like just a perfect day in somewhere else, like in Super Tubes, the catching a good wave is here, and the fear is like around here. So you go, you know.
When you're facing that monster, right, of the cave, I guess other waves just that are incredibly scary for other people, right? For normal people, they kind of like become dwarfed, right, in comparison.
Yeah, I think that's with everyone. If you surf harder waves to surf, then the other one it's easier.
Yeah.
And then that harder wave, it starts to be normal, and then you surf even like bigger wave, and then that's your like point of reference, and the other ones start to be a bit more normal. But I think cave for everyone, not for like Nathan Florence or those guys, but everyone else, I think it's up there of one of the scariest, like hardest to go over. That fear.
And are there any waves like that you see in the world that are like a step above that you have in your sights that you want to try out and surf that you haven't done yet?
That I want to try out, maybe not now, because I still didn't get over the kind of the cave level. So, but Chopes is a really interesting wave, but I don't know if it's as dangerous as cave. If it's big, for sure it's as dangerous, but I think if it's more dangerous than what cave is, I don't really. I'm not really thinking about it now. If it happens, like it happens, but.
Yeah, you've got a good training ground here at home to like get you over other waves in the rest of the world. And tell me, like coming from Algarve and then like going to spots like Cave and some of the other spots that we won't say their names here. Like, did you have to overcome like challenges of localism, being accepted into these waves at any point, or did you have like guys who kind of pulled you in and took you under their wing?
I think if as long as you anywhere in the world, from anywhere you are in the world or anywhere you go, I think as long as you respect the people that are from there, that are there first than you are, as long as you respect, you are almost always welcome. Only if you're like, yeah, if you respect, I think you're always welcome. Because if you're a dickhead, you don't respect. So yeah, just so that was kind of the law I went by. Just respect the guys that are from there, and then you get also respect back. And then you're not from there, but you know that you have your go, you have your place. You start to have your place in the lineups. I think that's it. In Hawaii, like for sure, there's so many people that aren't from there, but they get respect and they respect everyone, so they get their place. It's the same as anywhere else in the world, I think.
Right.
They but in Hawaii, if you don't respect, they like charge you for that. And some spots, they don't charge you as much, but I think they should because it's really annoying when.
I mean, I've heard stories from Pipeline, even people being extremely respectful. Like a friend of mine who's like a very, very good surfer from here in Portugal was in Pipeline. And you mentioned Nathan Florence, so he was there with a couple of the guys, and it was like pumping, and they were all just taking the lefts, like the pipeline left, and he was sitting underneath the whole time, and he saw no one's taking the rights. So like after a long time, he paddled up, and he was like, "Guys, I see no one's taking backdoor. Like, do you mind if I go?" And they're like, "Get the fuck back down there! Like, get out of the get out of the peak." And he's like a super respectful guy, really humble guy. So like, do you have any like go-tos that you learned over time of like, this is how I earn my respect at a spot?
Like, I don't think I don't know who said it, but man, I don't know.
It was hard for me to. Imagine.
If no one's going right, like.
I think it was a statement.
It depends a bit the law of the place as well. Every place has its own little law that you. Maybe in pipe no one can be under the guys because, I don't know, maybe he didn't know the guy and he thought he was just a cook who wanted to be like inside them and it would interfere with like them getting into the wave, he would be in the way. So he thought like, get the fuck out of here. Maybe like every place has its law and pipe is dangerous. So maybe that's why they don't have tolerance for, there's so many, it happens also where I live, like there's so many cooks. Even if they like, hey, yeah, can I sit here? Like, there's so many cooks that you're fed up with it, so you just don't have any.
You guys
tolerance.
shouldn't be in here. It's dangerous for everybody.
Like, no, you can't. And I think pipe probably is one of those places.
I mean, this guy surfs big waves, surfs big barrels here in Portugal. My understanding of it was like, kind of. If anybody sees from the beach, that this guy from outside comes and just takes waves, like they wanted to send a message. That was my understanding of it.
Maybe, yeah. And maybe it's the guy who said it. Maybe it wasn't a good day. Maybe it was a guy like that's, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't really a local. It was just a guy who, wants to pretend like a local.
Like he's the alpha.
I don't know. Like there's some, also in every local spot, there's some like better people and some more
for sure
like fucked up people. So
for people like listening, what would be your advice when coming to a new spot, especially like if it's maybe a spot that's more localized and more important to the local community? What would be your tips to navigate that side and earn the respect?
Think always try to understand what the law of the place is, like just observe and try to figure out what's happening before taking like an act, and try to like ask someone from there, like just speak a little bit with someone from there, like being like just respectful and try to understand. And then inside of what you can do, just do whatever you want. But you have to understand that every place has their own little rules that if you don't follow, you're disrespecting that place. So you're not welcome there. And that's why people sometimes they have their own law, like, oh, but I can't do this everywhere I want to go. And it doesn't work like that. Every place has their own little law, and you have to do your thing inside that little law. And then if you get respect, you start to you start to be more comfortable. And of course, if you start to be one of them from there, if you're there a long time, you're never one of the locals, but you get respected as a local. So I think, just have to adapt to each place, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it's actually like, it sounds super simple, but it's actually a really good message, because I think there's a sort of a split into two, right? The guys who are just assholes and they don't give a fuck, and they have that ego of like, I'm just going to walk in and do it. And there are others that just don't really understand it, right? They don't know what they're doing wrong, and they don't know what the problem is. So I guess, that's a great piece of advice. Like, learn that specific spot. What worked somewhere else in the world won't necessarily work in this new spot, and don't be surprised if people don't take to it well, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just have there's a lot of people who also don't even know what priority or what respect inside the surf means. Like a lot of cooks, especially where I live, the beach I live in, it's full of cooks. Like there's no control. There's not enough people to be there, monitorizing it or keeping the respect. There's just too many cooks at Rifan. It's like a well-known beach. And you see that those guys they're outnumbered, and they don't understand anything about being in a lineup. And
they don't know what they're doing wrong,
they don't
right?
know what they're doing, and so there's not much you can do. Also, it's not like a pipeline. It's not a dangerous wave. It's a good wave to learn. So it's kind of it's kind of polluted with that type of people. Like, of course, but there's not much you can do, because it's not like the best wave ever, and it's like a way for people to learn. But if all those guys knew what they were doing, would be much better for everyone, and there would be way less stress in the water, because sometimes even with that amount of people, you have to like put order in the lineup. If not, everything's just, there's no law. Like, if they don't know what they're doing, then it's gonna be just a confusion. So,
and it's a vicious cycle, right? Because someone shouts at them for doing something wrong, but they don't explain what it is, and then they're confused, and they'll do it again and again and again.
If they don't know what they're doing, then it's like, it doesn't work for us and for them. It's like, so.
What do you think the solution is to something like that?
Like I said, just learn the law of the place. Just even if everybody that starts surfing, I think, needs to know that there's certain rules to being in the water. That's the first thing. Then maybe 50% of people that surf don't know that. Like,
right.
A lot of people that go to surf schools and stuff, they don't learn that. So I think for the beginners, just try to learn a lot and not argue in the start, and then you will evolve much quicker than just being kind of blind to that. And so, just try to learn in the start when you're a beginner. Yeah.
It's something that we see, like, it's a big topic, right? And it's just like we're saying, like, a lot of people don't know, and that just creates a big mess and misunderstanding. So, like, one thing that we're looking to solve in the Rush is working with surf schools that really do put that effort in, right? Like, not just teaching someone how to surf, but how to be a surfer, which is a whole different world. And I guess, like, once you have that information, then it's up to you if you're an asshole or not. But, like, the problem starts kind of before, right? That a lot of people learn to surf in surf schools that don't really invest in, giving them the knowledge and the power to be independent surfers going forward, and just, like, to have that one photo where they're standing up on a wave and like smiling and cheering. Tell me, you did a lot of traveling at quite a young age, like you said. How was it for you to like kind of manage that, you know, being a kid growing up and also having like access to this unbelievable world that like even adults don't even get to, you know, travel as much as you have done so far in your life, and especially at that age. Like, did you ever work with like mental coaches, psychologists, things like that? Like this is something that has come up in other sessions of ours, to prepare A, for competitive surfing, and B, just to manage that lifestyle as a kid?
When I was younger, not really. But when I got injured, I had a psychologist that helped me throughout the injury, because injury, like I was 14 and I had to stop surfing for 9 months.
Tell us about that injury. What happened?
It was like a thing on the cartilage. Started to get a
Wear and tear? Like it was from overuse rather than one
overuse,
one
started
thing
to
that
break down and like detach from the bone. So I had to stop. The thing that it was a long time. I had to stop like nine months, and then only like a year and a half to start surfing normally.
After from 2 years old surfing all the time.
2 years I started surfing like normal and confident, and yeah. So but those 9 months just going to the physio and school, and we're a bit hard on. It's hard on the mind because you're not used to it. It's like an opposite. It completely changes. So yeah, I had someone help me throughout that, and now I have someone to help me also evolve. Like I just think I'm someone that needs a bit of mental help.
Well, yeah, it's come up in previous conversations, and I think like it's not you, it's everybody, right? Everybody needs it, especially when it's an individual sport, and like talent-wise, you can be perfect, but having that consistency and facing the heat and making sure you have like the mental routines to be able to repeat and be consistently good is like a hugely important thing, right?
I think everyone has their own different things that they're for them it's harder, and so yes, everyone is a bit different, but I really doubt there's someone which is like has the sharpest mind and can do everything by themselves. It's hard. There's people that, like Andy, I don't know if he had like someone to help him, but he was really like, fuck everybody, I'm just gonna do it, and he did it, you know? So that's also someone I really look up to, but nowadays it's different also from that time, because everybody trains more, like everything is more, how do you say?
The level of professionalism has just increased, right?
Increased, and everyone is really close. So to go
differentiate yourself from the pack.
You need to be like, you just need to be much better. I don't know how to explain, but nowadays, like you see, there's not one guy on tour which is like really the best ever in all the conditions. Like the results are like every year on tour you see like people getting like there's not one guy that wins everything or gets, like Kelly used to get like a good result on almost every spot. Now the first guy is always like this. Eventually he can go to, like, he can stay on the top 5 and maybe win, but
from a collection of results, not across the board, always being
like first and second for sure.
Yeah.
For this year, I have no idea who's gonna be like the top 5, because they're all just really, really close. And so
I mean, that's something that trips me out, right? Like you look at the QS, and there's so many QS surfers that could easily be in the CT.
So many,
right?
good
And
guys.
like,
So many.
How do they even have a chance of getting there? And then you see guys who have worked their whole lives to be in the CT, and maybe they get injured and they miss the first few heats, and that's it, they're done, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw that in the last few years.
I think there's surfers like in the city that like it's surprising to see them there because you know there's so many. In my opinion, everyone has their own opinion, but so many better surfers on the QS that are not there, but like he's there and he doesn't surf better than the guys of the QS, but he's just competing is not like it's a bit different. It's not like free surfing. You just have to. I think it's the mind is the most important thing, and everything else. But to have to do the best surfing that you can do, like consistently, is really really hard. That's why I think like a lot of good guys maybe don't get so far on the comps because
like talent-wise, they're right up there with the best, but the mental side.
I think mostly it's mentally. Physically, yeah, you have to be well prepared so you don't get injured. But physically, like Bronson Medi. I think the
yeah. He was in
he's really skinny. Like he's skinny, but he's just like really 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 good. He won now the juniors. As long as he doesn't get injured, I think you can be skinny and be the best in the world. Like John when he was younger, he was like all skinny. I think he didn't train anything, and I think he was the best surfer in the world. So, but he got injured like I don't know how many times.
Yeah, that's his leg.
It's a bit of everything, but I think mentally, it's the hardest thing, at least.
And for that element, did you have guys, you mentioned like Alex Botello and Marlon Lipke and Canelas and all the guys from Algarve. Like, did you have guidance from those guys coming up, like to help you prepare yourself mentally and like get yourself in a position to be a competitive surfer?
No, because when I was younger, I didn't think about that. Like, and that's a good thing. Like when you're younger, you don't think about that.
Mind is
you just
free.
go do it, and it's good. I wish I had that mind when I was younger. And I think the guys from Algarve, it's a bit like that. Just don't think too much. Go.
Yeah.
And.
It's crazy if we had the child's mind. It feels like we could be so much more successful and practical in our lives. Like in general, forget competitive sports or anything like that. Just everything we do, right? Our mind is our worst enemy usually, as people.
Yeah, I think so. And now and they help me for sure on that. Like Canelas and Miguel Mozin, they really. I don't know if they didn't say much or what happened, but I know when I was a kid, I felt like my mind was much like straightforward than now. It's a bit harder to control, but yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Yeah.
Nice. And I'd love to hear a few of your thoughts on the Rush, on the platform, on what we're doing in surfing. Yeah, what do you think of the project?
I think it's good in that sense of like pass on just what you learned from all those years that you've surfed and traveled around the world. I think that has more value than any like surf school or I think the experience that all the guys from the Rush, like I don't know, like Vasco and Tomás and everyone, they're all really good surfers, and they have all this experience and all this knowledge that you only get from traveling and from situations you put yourself that you fail and then you get better, and all the little rules about like the respect that I said of being in the lineup. I think you just pass on all the things you lived, and that's really valuable if you want to evolve as a surfer. The most interesting thing about the Rush is to have all these really good surfers giving you like teaching you, not teaching you, but helping you to surf and passing on their experience, because that's, I think, the most important thing is just the experience all these guys have, because they surf their whole life. They know a lot of things that the surf school is not going to tell you.
And even you, with your young age, like you've got experiences that, I mean, a very small percentage of surfers have in the world, right? That you're able to pass on.
Yeah, I have mine. Everyone has theirs, but I think even if it's someone that surfs 10 years ago, like around, and you see the level of surfing, everyone surfs really good. I think the level is really important. You have guys on surf schools, teachers, that they just stand up and go forward, and I think that's not really logical to learn.
It's basically like
from
having
those
a
guys.
masterclass, right? Having a maestro teach you.
Exactly, it's like you trust much more a guy that knows how to surf than a guy who surfs like you in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main, like the strongest thing about the rush, and also of course it's everybody, like it's each spot has their local people. I think that's really good because the local guys know what happens in that area and what to
your
do.
point before, right? Everywhere has its own rules.
Also, and like what to look, like where to surf, where to have fun, where to to visit, like all these little tips. The tides, the banks. Like every local guy knows the spots their own way. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, and that's it. I think that's the best part. It's
Nice.
being with the good surfers and local surfers.
So guys, João is available in the Algarve region for guiding. I mean, there's also other areas of Portugal that you're very familiar with and happy to take people through. As a final kind of comment, I'd love to hear your thought of where the surf world is at now and where you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years, because it feels like there's a lot of change happening. And I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
I have no idea. Actually, I don't know. It's a good question. I have no idea. Like, what do you mean about the surf world? Like,
well, we talked about competition and how difficult it is. There's so many guys who have the talent to be in these top spots, but there's such limited spots, and it feels like differentiating between them and the way the competition's going, we've got guys falling off tour or like not wanting to participate this year. Like, do you think that there are any changes that are going to happen in the way that competition runs? Do you think there should be changes that happen?
Yeah, I think it's I don't know, with the USL has their really strong part, but also like the inconsistency. I think it's a really weak part of them because the format's always changing, the owners are always changing. Sometimes it's 2 events a year, sometimes it's 10 events a year. So it's a bit hard for the surfers to like, I want to do this for the next 5 years, I'm going to try, because it's always changing. Mm-hmm. So you kind of get lost and it's not a really secure...
Like the criteria of judging, what's been looked for?
Also, the judging is always changing also. So I think it's hard for a surfer to do well or to choose that path, because it's a really hard. Turns it even harder, I think, to get to a good place in competition. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know where surfing's gonna go. I have no idea. Just with what's presented now, I just try to do my best and see where it takes me.
And what events do you have coming up this year that stand out for you?
I have Morocco now, which is the 3000, the QS, which is really the most important one now. And then Costa da Caparica is after, but doesn't really like what matters now. It's Morocco because it's a really important one, because if I do well here, I can have a really good chance in Costa. So yeah.
And it's running next week, right?
It's in the 22nd of February. So I just focused on that now, and not thinking about anything else. Yeah.
That's it. Release the mind, right? One step at a time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming down. It's a pleasure to have you on. Wishing you all the best in Morocco and for basically the rest of the year. And yeah, guys, as we said, Joao's available on the platform. If you want to chill with this legend, you know where to find him. Stay tuned for the next episodes. And that's a wrap for today.
Yeah.